morning. I'd like to introduce you to another member of our committee of Becoming God's Men. This is a longtime friend, Lee Crist. And Lee, I just want you to tell us a little bit about your ministry, how you got started, what you're involved in.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. And let me say first that I appreciate the opportunity to bring to the table some of my experience and so forth to becoming God's man. Men's ministry is probably more needed today than it's ever been, and so I'm privileged to be part of that. I'm from Indiana. Originally I've been in Florida about 12 years, so my education and a large part of my ministry was done in Indiana. I have a financial background and also a ministerial background. I've just recently retired from pastoral ministries. Did that July the 12th. That's a date that I'll never forget. After about 40 years of mostly bivocational ministry with the Wesleyan Church and the Free Methodist Church. I continue my responsibilities with the Free Methodist Church as a representative of their Free Methodist Financial Services Organization, which does estate planning and plan giving and investments. So still very active in that, and that's where I'm spending most of my time. I also work as kind of an ombudsman for World Gospel Mission. My wife is the Southeast Area Director for that organization, which is a independent missionary sending organization. So I do a lot of work for them of just a volunteer nature. We lead missions trips and just promote the mission throughout the southeast here. Currently I'm a worshiper rather than a worship leader or a pastor, and I'm enjoying that role, although that's just been for a few weeks, and we are always looking for opportunities to minister. And becoming God's man has been one of those outlets.
Lee, you want to make any comments about the campgrounds in Georgia?
Yeah, I've had the privilege the last 2 years of leading a holiness camp up in Butler, Georgia. Butler is located almost halfway between Macon, Georgia and Columbus, Georgia. A remote little part of the state, pristine, large stately pine trees there, and a camp meeting that's open 8 days a year, about 3 weeks out of the year really, when you count preparation and closing. But I'm president of that camp. My main responsibility is finding speakers for it. We go about 8 days, and it's just an old-fashioned revival type camp meeting. It's not as primitive as it might sound. We have air conditioning and all those things, but it is rustic. We've done it on a motel type of basis. We have about 4 of those, plus evangelist quarters, a large tabernacle, and a dining hall. Good southern food there, which I'm getting used to, and a language that's almost foreign that I'm getting used to. But it is a great outlet for both revivalism, in the traditional sense of that word, getting in touch with a God that's dramatic for your life, and then supporting missionaries. During those 8 days, we'll raise about $50,000 for World Gospel Mission, plus another like sum for managing the camp during those few weeks. So at peak, we'll be around 300 people. And again, it's a major influence in the area for God, and expands beyond that when we have the missionary approach there. That's one of the great privileges I have of leading that. I follow a man who is active in the John Maxwell organization that's called EQUIP, E-Q-U-I-P, which is a leadership development organization all around the world. A very dynamic group. Doug Carter is his name, and I've been privileged to be associated with him, following him, big shoes to fill. But if you're looking for a way to transition in a godly way, Doug is the man to help with that. He's still involved with the camp, and I'm just privileged to be a part of an organization like that. There's a network of those independent camps, several of them in Georgia, some in Florida. We have one that we're also active in Lakeland, Florida, called the Florida Holiness Camp Meeting. There was one in Avon Park that I was on the board there for several years as well in Florida. So all of those are very active and they're growing. Some are in decline, but the larger ones and more productive ones are still increasing and still finding a way to make people an avenue of getting in touch with God in a dynamic way that has an effect over every part of their lives.
Lee, I thank you so much for spending a few minutes. We know you're a busy man. I thank you so much over the years for being a mentor, for being a good friend, and being on our committee. And I'm just anxious to see what God's going to be doing on us, in us, and through us. So,
Yeah, we're excited about that. And
Yes, we
the
are.
stewardship's our main focus right now. The whole spectrum of that, from personal finance all the way through investment planning, with the estate planning and plan giving in the way. We have some pretty creative ways of helping people not only manage their money, but manage it for a kingdom's sake.
Lee, would you like to put a website address or phone number out there that people could contact you?
Sure. You can contact me through my email, lee.crist@verizon.net. The foundation is fmfoundation.org. You can go to our website there. And a lot of contacts, no matter where you are in the country, there are representatives that could help you. Especially if you're Free Methodist. It's a Free Methodist organization, so if you want to get in contact with us, that would be the way to do
But
it.
it does go beyond Free Methodist too.
It can, yes.
It can.
Our focus is Free Methodist, obviously. Most denominations have an arm of service like ours, so if you can't reach a Free Methodist rep, you can certainly do that through your own denomination. But if you give me a call, I'd be glad to help you.
Thank you again for meeting with us today, and we appreciate all you do with us and also the kingdom work that you do besides it. Thank you very much.
It's all a privilege. Privilege.